The map's on fire, the old colonial roles are breaking down, and a multi-billion-dollar meeting just turned into a total disaster. Welcome back. You're watching the Global Observer, and I urge you to stay right there. The idea of a peaceful French presence in East Africa has just been shattered. This week, French President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Kenya for a major African summit. He wanted to showcase a fresh start, but the local youth met him with a wall of pure anger. Macron claims the old colonial days are over and the Africa is no longer France's backyard. Yet, on the streets, nobody believed the sales speech. Activists are linking today's trade deal directly to a dark history of Western interference. They are talking about the destruction of Libya and the current chaos in the Sahel. Tonight we break down the dramatic protest, the viral clash between Macron and African youth, and the real reason the French leader is still trying to dictate the house rules. They wear a brand new suit, but they still act in the exact same controlling way. At the summit, Macron announced a massive $27 billion investment package. This money is meant for green energy, artificial intelligence, and farming. He smiled for the cameras and declared that Europe wants Africa to have full independence. But to the protesters outside, this deal is just the same old extraction system with a shiny new label. For decades, Western powers have treated the continent like a big warehouse. They take the raw materials and leave the local population in the dark. Local activists pointed out the extreme hypocrisy of the whole event. They noted that the Western world is responsible for most of the planet's pollution, yet European leaders fly in on private jets to lecture Africans about planting trees. The people called it environmental paternalism. They went to the streets to prove that Africa will no longer accept these double standards. This explosive backlash is a major turning point in modern history because the political map is shifting faster than ever. For the past few years, anti-French sentiment was mostly trapped in West Africa. Nations like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger made history by kicking French military bases off their land. They did this after immense public pressure. Now, the exact same revolutionary energy has traveled thousands of miles straight into East Africa. Paris thought Nairobi would be a safe zone for their diplomacy, but the ghosts of the past followed Macron right to the podium. This is no longer a localized protest. It is a continental awakening. The youth from the west to the east are connecting the dots. They see that from the 2011 war in Libya to the modern trade treaties, the goal of the empire has never changed. It is always about keeping control of the world while local economies struggle to survive. The underlying tension between the old empire and the new generation reached a boiling point during a youth cultural event inside the summit. As young African artists took the stage, the room grew louder with excitement and conversation. Instead of letting the youth express themselves, Macron interrupted the entire event. He took the microphone and scolded, "The map's on fire, the old colonial roles are breaking down, and a multi-billion-dollar meeting just turned into a total disaster." Welcome back. You're watching the Global Observer, and I urge you to stay right there. The idea of a peaceful French presence in East Africa has just been shattered. This week, French President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Kenya for a major African summit. He wanted to showcase a fresh start, but the local youth met him with a wall of pure anger. Macron claims the old colonial days are over and the Africa is no longer France's backyard. The room. He called the noise a total lack of respect. He told the young people that if they wanted to talk, they needed to walk outside the building. While the French president thought he was just asking for quiet, the moment immediately went viral for all the wrong reasons. To millions of viewers online, it became a perfect symbol of the colonial power dynamic. It looked exactly like a European ruler stepping up to discipline and silence African youth. It completely destroyed the image of equal partnership that Macron spent all week trying to build. You cannot claim to treat someone as an adult while ordering them around in their own home. Even the massive financial promises made inside the air-conditioned halls are facing heavy skepticism from ordinary citizens. President William Ruto welcomed the billions, but many locals dismissed the entire gathering as a puppet summit. Think of this giant international project like a fancy rain cloud that only drops water on the roofs of the richest houses in town. It leaves the rest of the land completely dry. Critics are pointing out these mega deals usually benefit a tiny political elite while the broader economy plummets. They are calling out the fake ideologies and selfish interests that drive these sudden partnerships. The question on the street is simple, dear viewers. When will leaders start acting with true goodwill or goodwill for the public instead of chasing quick financial rewards? Macron keeps insisting that the era of France giving others is dead and buried, but when the actions don't match the words, the promises mean absolutely nothing. This historic week in Nairobi proves that Paris cannot run away from the long shadow of its colonial past. The old playbook of using economic aid to maintain political dominance is no longer working. The youth of today have a clear mind and they are using their voices to demand real accountability. The struggle of self-reliance is being beaten in real time. Africa is no longer a background player in a European script. The continent is building its own house and the people are refusing to let a foreign landlord set the rules. Thank you for trusting the Global Observer to bring you the truth behind the headlines with the highest credibility possible. We are here to keep informing you and connecting you to the front lines of our history. What are your thoughts on the rising protests in East Africa? Do you think these multi-billion-dollar deals are a true partnership or just a new form of control? We'd like to hear from you, so you have to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Smash that like button, share this video with everyone and any group you know, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a report.